Chapter 1. The Return of Moses. Gap the Breeze. Moses, a Hebrew raised in Pharaoh's palace, returned to Egypt. He carried a message from God. "Let my people go," he told Pharaoh. Pharaoh scoffed. He refused to free the Israelites from slavery. This defiance angered God. He would show Pharaoh his power. He would bring 10 plagues upon Egypt. Chapter 2. The Nile runs red, gap threes. The first plague was blood. The Nile River, Egypt's lifeblood, turned red. The fish died, the water stank. Egyptians could not drink from their beloved river. Still, Pharaoh's heart remained hardened. Chapter 3. An amphibian army, gap threes. Next came a plague of frogs. They hopped from the Nile, covering every inch of Egypt. Egyptians found them in their homes, their beds, even their food. The stench of frogs filled the air. Pharaoh, disgusted, promised Moses he'd free the Israelites if the frogs were removed. God heard his plea. The frogs vanished. But Pharaoh once again broke his word. Chapter 4. A Kingdom of Itching. Gap threes. The third plague was lice. Tiny insects infested Egypt, biting people and animals alike. The Egyptians scratched and scratched, but the itching wouldn't stop. Their discomfort was unbearable. Pharaoh, however, remained unmoved. Chapter 5. Death on Four Legs. Gap threes. Section 5. Death on four legs. The fourth plague targeted Egypt's livestock. A terrible disease swept through the land, killing horses, cattle, sheep, and goats. The stench of death filled the air. The Egyptians lost a vital part of their livelihood. Still, Pharaoh refused to relent. Chapter 6. A Plague of Boils. Gap threes. Section 6. A Plague of Boils. The sixth plague brought painful boils. They erupted on the skin of the Egyptians, causing intense pain and suffering. Even the Pharaoh's magicians were afflicted, yet Pharaoh's heart remained hard. He refused to let the Israelites go. Chapter 7. Fury from the Sky. Gap threes. Section 7. Fury from the Sky. The seventh plague unleashed the fury of the heavens. Hailstones mingled with fire rained down on Egypt. Crops were destroyed, houses were shattered, and trees were uprooted. The Egyptians huddled in fear as the storm raged. Pharaoh, shaken by the display of power, promised to release the Israelites. But once the storm subsided, he went back on his word. Chapter 8. The Devouring Swarm. Gap threes. Section 8. The Devouring Swarm. The eighth plague brought locusts. They swarmed across the sky, blotting out the sun. They descended upon Egypt, devouring every green plant in sight. The land, already ravaged by hail, was stripped bare. Famine threatened the land. Still, Pharaoh clung to his stubborn refusal. Chapter 9. 3 days of darkness. Gap threes. Section 9. 3 days of darkness. Then came a darkness so thick it felt tangible. For 3 days and 3 nights, Egypt was plunged into an impenetrable blackness. The Egyptians could not see their hand in front of their face. Fear and despair gripped their hearts. Yet, even in the darkness, Pharaoh refused to yield. Chapter 10. Silence of the Firstborn. Gap threes. Section 10. Silence of the Firstborn. The final plague was the most devastating. The angel of death passed through Egypt, taking the lives of all the firstborn sons. From the palace to the humblest hut, the cries of mourning filled the air. Pharaoh's own son was not spared. Finally, Pharaoh's heart broke. He could resist God's power no longer. He summoned Moses and Aaron. "Go," he cried, "leave this place, take your people, and be gone." Chapter 11. Flight to Freedom. Gap 33s. Section 11. Flight to Freedom. The Israelites, guided by Moses, left Egypt in haste. They took their belongings, their livestock, and their newfound freedom. They journeyed towards the Red Sea, their hearts filled with both hope and trepidation. Chapter 12. Walls of Water. Gap threes. Section 12. Walls of Water. But Pharaoh, his grief giving way to rage, had a change of heart. He sent his army after the Israelites. The Israelites, trapped between the Red Sea and the approaching Egyptians, cried out in fear. Moses raised his staff. The waters parted, creating a dry path through the sea. Chapter 13. Freedom's Song. Gap threes. Section 13. Freedom's Song. The Israelites crossed the Red Sea to safety. Pharaoh's army, blinded by fury, followed in pursuit. But the waters crashed back together, engulfing the Egyptians and their chariots. On the far shore, the Israelites watched in awe. They were free. Their song of thanksgiving echoed across the water, a testament to God's power and their enduring hope.